Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. Today we're going to be looking at Ultra Necrozma Malamar. It's a deck that made top 8 at Harrogate with Ryan Morehouse, and also his teammate Adam Hawkins also made top 16. I believe they played each other in one of the later rounds of Harrogate itself, so definitely a proven archetype that they have done very well with together and ironed out a very cool 60 card list, which has, in my opinion, ironed out some of the criticisms that you do normally have with an Ultra Malamar list, and that's the criticism of consistency. Having to juggle two different energy types of Metal and Psychic does get a lot easier thanks to the unit energies that they chose to play in their 60, and that, to be honest, is one of the key differences between their list and other standard builds that we've seen previously. And I think it's a really nice, innovative decision, as well as a few other key Pokemon tech choices that they've gone for as well. So I think it's a really nice 60 cards, and it proves that Ultra Necrozma is still a great beatdown attacker, and you have a lot of versatility, similar to Gascan, where you have lots of individual one-of attackers, which can help out in lots of different matchups as well. So let's jump into the list. First of all, the 4/4 Malamar is going to be the engine that we try and set up every single game, because Psychic Recharge is going to be so vital for getting these expensive attack costs rolling turn by turn. Once during a turn, you may attach a Psychic Energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. Obviously, getting more out is going to be important so that we can chain attacks, especially Ultra Necrozma-GX, one of our main attackers, discards energies via his damage output comes from discarding more Psychic Energies, so that's really important to recycle him as much as possible. Here he is, Ultra Necrozma-GX. 190 hit point, basic is pretty nice. It's a Dragon type, weak to Fairy, which is a little bit awkward right now. The likes of Gramble, the likes of Gardevoir and Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales roaming around in a bunch of different decks right now means that typing is not the most safe in the world, but still not too shabby. Because you have so many other attacking options in here, and against things like Gardevoir, you can still trade because Photon Geyser can still reach ridiculous numbers, and that's the big selling point, the reason why he is the main attacker in the deck. Photon Geyser for a Psychic and Metal does 20 base. You discard all Psychic Energy from this Pokemon, all basic Psychic Energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 80 more for each you discarded in this way, so technically infinite damage output, which is actually really important right now because there's a lot of stalling/walling decks and all that good stuff. And having infinite damage that you can recover energies specifically means that you can really render some of these mill decks pretty useless. You can beat them quite easily with the amount of switching options and Ultra of the Moons you have in the deck. Reloading Photon Geyser turn by turn should help you get through a lot of different barriers, so that's really incredible for getting one-hit KOs on even like big stage 2s and stuff like that, which is absolutely amazing for you. Sky Scorching Light GX is an alternate win condition that you can have, and it's one of the big reasons why you're still able to beat some of these non-GX decks. Most notably, Lost March is actually quite a positive matchup for this deck. It again shares that cost of Psychic and Metal. This attack can only be used if there's a total of 6 or less prize cards remaining, and you get to put 6 counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. This can finish off something that you've hit earlier. For example, if you were to use something like a Dawnwings Necrozma or a Giratina to hit something like a Tapu Lele earlier in a game, and rather than needing Guzma to round out your game, you can use a Sky Scorching Light GX instead and do that. Also, it prevents really the opponent late game putting down like basics willy-nilly, otherwise you can punish them quite easily with Sky Scorching Light. And the reason why it helps out Lost March so much is because of the addition of Giratina that we get from Lost Thunder, putting those 70 hit point Pokemon into range thanks to Distortion Door. If you're able to do that before or on the same turn that you use Sky Scorching Light GX, you can really take games away from some of these non-GX based decks. So it's a really nice GX attack to have available to you. From there, the Dawnwings Necrozma-GX Invasion, obviously again a good option for the stalling decks, and in general just giving you some nice fluidity with your attackers, jumping this into the active either with an Ultra of the Moon, giving your guys free retreat throughout the game, or just with like combination of Guzmas that you can get your Ultra Necrozma back into the active to re-chain attacks. However, this Dawnwings is good in its own right as an attacker itself. Dark Flash does 120 for 3 Psychic. We are playing Beast Energy and Choice Band in the list, so technically Dark Flash can hit 180 as well, which is actually good to note against things like Bucephalon and against Tapu Lele's and stuff like that. And we also have the Moon's Eclipse GX attack, which is another situationally very good option for us to have. You do 180, but you can only use this if your opponent has less prize cards remaining than you. But if that's the case, then you also prevent all damage from attacks, including, or all effects, including damage done to this Pokemon during your next turn. So you effectively force a Guzma out of your opponent, and if this is the only GX on your board, then you force your opponent to only take one prize the following turn, which can sometimes skew the race and really help you out. So the Moon's Eclipse GX attack can be very good against other aggressive builds. As I've already mentioned, Blacephalon's a big one, so that's really cool. On to some of the non-GX options. The Lunala Prism Star, Full Moon Star. It's another way that we can keep recovering energy cards quite quickly, and allows us to dump Psychic Energy straight out the gate. Gives us a secondary option if our Malamars aren't online. For example, in mirror matches, if we're going to get hit with Bell of Silence, we can use Full Moon Star instead to power up some of our attacks. Psystorm is another great option for us, great against some of these decks that are rocking Super Boost Energy. They give you a free 80 damage, which can be great for Psystorm just in one attachment. Against things like Gardevoir, it's also very notable. And Psystorm as well is nice in mirror match situations. It has that dark weakness instead of psychic weakness, so things like Giratinas and like Chimechos and stuff like that may not be, or not Chimechos, I mean like Deoxys, stuff like that. They're not going to be sufficient, so it forces the opponent to put GXs into play, which is good news for you. So pretty nice card overall. The Giratina, I've already mentioned how his ability can be helpful for fixing math. It can actually help you jump over Beast Ring in certain spots as well if you really need to, which is pretty cool in like not really mirror match situations, but again, Blacephalon, stuff like that. I think this deck has an alternate win condition against that deck, but Distortion Door being able to recycle itself just as an attacker turn after turn is absolutely great for this deck. It means that we can be cheeky with our Pokemon counts, only needing 2 Ultra Necrozma, 1 Dawn Wings, and 2 Stretchers, because this Giratina is infinitely looping himself thanks to that ability. Shadow Impact does 130. It's a really nice number to hit against other non-GXs at times. And again, we have Distortion Door and things like Choice Band to mean that even he could pick off a Lele on his own just by going Distortion Door, then Guzma after you do all your Psychic recharging. So that's really cool for you. Very, very nice attacker in this deck. It also carries that fighting resistance, same as the Dawn Wings, so it's really annoying to get over, and the Lunala has it as well, so obviously you have a very strong matchup against the Buzzwole decks. That's one of the key selling points that Malamar has always been able to boast. 1 copy of Chimecho, Bell of Silence, as we've seen so much in Gascan, is going to be implemented in this list, buying you so much time to just build up your board while the opponent is not able to do much, is a fantastic option that Psychic decks can abuse, and this one does as well. Although we're not playing skateboards, we are playing 3 copies of Switch and 2 Alters, so it's not unrealistic to get this Chimecho in the active very early. And then we're going to have Let Loose for some disruptive element. This can be nice in the early turns, just trying to disrupt the opponent in the first place, but also great in combination with Bell of Silence. When we're going to break our Bell of Silence loop, oftentimes you want to combine it with a Let Loose so the opponent can't do much even once they have their abilities available to them again. And 1 Tapu Lele-GX as well. Great option, especially when we have 8 Ball Search cards that can find this guy, can get you into early lilies and really kick start your turns, which is excellent for you. And Energy Drive, always important to note when you have Psychic Recharge available. This can end up becoming an attacker for you as well. Onto the items, 2 Stretcher, I think makes sense with the cheeky one-off counts of lots of different Pokemon. It means that you can reuse them when need be. 3 copies of Acrobike helps you dig a little bit further into the deck and give you more options to discard basic Psychic Energy, which is obviously synergistic with your Malamar. Then we're going to play the 8 Ball Search cards. Obviously, this deck can abuse Mysterious Treasure. It finds literally every target in the deck, excluding the Ultra Necrozma. An Ultra Ball can find you everything, but you have to discard extra cards. 3 copies of Switch, alongside your Invasion option and the Ultra of the Moon. This is really because you want to be able to chain Photon Geyser in certain situations, and that's a really big deal for you. And the reason this count is so high is, again, to try and complement that Chimecho to get him active and start locking people out of the game in the early turns. The Ultra of the Moon, obviously it's a great counter stadium, but also provides this freedom of movement, obviously fantastic, alongside Invasion. Onto the supporters, pretty simplistic, 4 copies of Lily and Cynthia, as well as 3 copies of Guzma to try and pick up the most important Pokemon on the opponent's side of the field, whilst also helping you move your own Ultra Necrozma at times, or whatever else is stuck in your active position, which is nice. 2 copies of Choice Band I think is really cute for fixing math. It makes Photon Geyser that much easier at knocking out things like Zoroarks. It means that your Giratina can knock out Lele's on its own, so it does some really cool things. It even means that the Dark Flash can get one-shots thanks to the combination with Beast Energy here, so that's a really good deal for you. Speaking of which, the Beast Energy can be very good on your Dawn Wings, and it can also be excellent on your Ultra Necrozma, giving you that effective like third choice band in your list, whilst also being a fifth Metal Energy, which is great for you. The units provide the other element of metal. Obviously, we're a little bit awkward against things like Enhanced Hammer. We're a little bit weaker, but up until Harrogate, Enhanced Hammer wasn't too impactful since Zoro Control did well at LATAM. And I guess there are some stalling decks that are playing E-Hammer, but you're hoping that you can just pump through them with 1 or 2 attacks with your Ultra Necrozma anyway, and you'll just be using things like Dawn Wings for the majority of the work. So you're not super punished by having units, and in general you have the huge upside of being able to attach them as Psychic Energies as well to the huge array of other attackers that we have available to us without being punished. And that was always a criticism of previous Ultra Squid lists. And then we just have 8 basic Psychics. I think, for me, I'm not going to question their lists. I know that Adam's, very experienced with Malamar. He top 8'd the NAIC with that list, and he knows it inside out. And I know the Sneak Attack guys, they definitely do put the work in with their deck choice. So I'm not going to talk about too many alternate cards that you could think about putting into the list. I think, really, for me, the only card I'd like is like a 4th Acrobike, but there's definitely not a cut that I can see that stands out. 4th Guzma as well would be something that I would always love, because I love having Guzma available at all times, but again, they've tried to cram in as much as possible. I think the Bell of Silence is too good to not play right now. I think Giratina provides so much as well for the Lost March matchup, and a bunch of other decks that like to put things like Marshadow just down onto the board. You can punish them with the Distortion Door plus Sky Scorching Light plays. So I think it's a really cool build, and we're going to jump into some games and see how it goes. I think this deck is still underrepresented in tournaments, and is definitely performing well at the moment, despite the lack of people playing it. We have a really nice opening hand here. Going first as well isn't too shabby. We have Inkay, and then a Treasure for a Psychic Energy can instantly go into the bin for us, which is nice. We have both Cynthia and the option to let loose. I imagine we'll be taking the Cynthia option, depending on what we draw. And we are up against Gramble. Gramble isn't the easiest matchup, that's for certain. We're going to try and have to loop Giratina as much as possible, so we can get the Magcargos down to from 90 down to 60, and then we can do a Sky Scorching Light play that can try and knock out like a Snubble and a Magcargo or 2 at the same time. I think that's the thing we got to try and do here. So you always have to instantly think about your your early line. Obviously, Bell of Silence could be good as well, stopping them getting Magcargo down, but they'll probably get the Oranguru out before we can sort of deny that. So that's more of a back of the mind strategy right now. Our Giratina isn't prized, which is great. You only need 1 copy to loop it for the entire game, which is nice. We're just going to go ahead and grab Inkay. Don't feel like it's worth let loosing now. I'd rather just develop with Cynthia. And it's definitely going to be important for us to try and find Giratina quite early. We do have Ultra Ball and Treasure, which is really nice. I want to get an attachment in early. The Beast Energy is not too big of a deal in this matchup, I don't think. We obviously can't use our Ultra Necrozma in this matchup unless we are literally using it as a finisher. So we're not too concerned that we're going to waste, quote-unquote, a Beast Energy on a Giratina here. So let's treasure this away. I'm just going to go ahead and pull out a Malamar for turn 2 because Gramble doesn't play any hand disruption. And we're going to pull the Giratina straight onto the board, I think, because I want to get a manual attachment in so I can attack next turn without needing a second Malamar and a second energy in the discard pile. Seems like not the worst turn 1. Next turn we need to find a manual attachment and find a switch card. Or we can just find a second Malamar and a switch card, of which we play 5. And if we can initiate the race of Giratina, that's at least going to be something. They do have a turn 1 Apricot Maker, which is the dream. I guess if we just initiate the race of Giratina, we can just win in like quite a simple fashion. Especially if we can Guzma Mad Cargos here and there, and maybe they miss. This matchup should be pretty okay, actually, thinking about it now. Dumbbells will be a problem if they play dumbbells. That's kind of the only thing that can slow us down, really. Let's see if we can get that attack turn 2 off. It is going to be important for our race here. There's a switch and an energy card, so we are very happy with this. We will play Acrobike down. We don't need Stretcher for anything, really, other than, like, backup Mallies. We don't need the energy too much either, though. I guess we kind of need the energy just for... It's kind of a nothing Acrobike, really. Not much in that one. Let's go for this. Again, Gramble doesn't play Hand Disruption, so I'm never too concerned about holding on to cards. We are a little concerned if they can just knock this out next turn. We do need a lot next turn in order to reply on him. We are going to put the 40 on ourselves because they either hit 160 or 30, so this 40 is always irrelevant. An Ultra Ball's not a bad pickup. We probably need to develop another Malamar next turn, at the very least. So we'll probably have to discard our top deck next turn or discard our Stretcher. We go Mally, Mally, Manual Attach, Double Psychic Recharge, Lele, and Guzma. That's probably our play. The awkward thing is we put a Lele down, but it does guarantee that we can respond. They Ultra Balled away a Diantha. That's pretty wild. Probably got a plan then, if their hand is that good. What? Yeah, I think they messed up. I think they clicked done instead of what they should have been doing there, but because they had smooth instruct, but they must have done something wrong. But at least we demonstrated that, you know, we went first, and when you go first, that matchup should be pretty okay. And you still have the continuous distortion door plus Sky Scorching Light line of play if you are the one going second as well. So that's good to know. Let's pop the Lunala down, I think. You don't want a Lunala in every matchup. And bench space is always a concern in this deck, but equally, you don't want to put Ultra Necrozma down in every matchup. So let's do this. What is this deck going to be? This is going to be... Okay, it's either a spread deck altogether, or it's a Zoro... Zoro Desi that just techs Larvitar for, like, Mirror. This is going to be scary no matter what. Is a turn 1 Let Loose a good win con against a deck like this? If it's a spread deck, it's a pretty good win condition because they play so few outs to get out of it. Oh boy. We might be letting loose, boys. I'm going to cautiously get rid of a Choice Band here over a Malamar. Although I could have insta-played the thing first. Okay, let's think this through. I think I do want to let loose, it's just how I want to develop my board first. I think I will put Lele down and Lily before I do all the things and the stuff. Pretty content to just attach and switch. Just to draw us more cards. Just want to find some Inkays before I let loose, basically. Well, that's not happening. Okay. Well, with no Inkays, I don't feel confident, so I'll just pass. I don't want to let loose myself into absolute dregs. I can at least get a Photon Geyser off immediately and see what sort of deck this is. Yeah, it looks to be a spread deck. Okay, it's going to be a hard matchup. Oh, it's a spread Mally. Spread Mally is, yeah, not going to be fun. Beast Energy is a really good card to find early, though, for knocking out Coco's turn after turn. Shrine set straight away. We've already got rid of one of our stadiums, which does really hurt us. We got a lot of Inkays down early. They did the thing that we wanted to do. How dare they? This is useless. Don't really just want to let loose because I'm not likely to draw many good cards. And I don't want to give him another bench Pokemon. I think I might just be mashing Photon Geyser into Photon Geyser for a little bit. Depending on how many Mallies he gets out this turn. This is a scary board though. Definitely a bad matchup for us. What is he doing? Attaching energy in some really interesting places. Trying to slow us down, it looks like. Okay. Well, his board wasn't that intimidating. He got one Mally out. And tried to do a stalling play, but... Let's knock this out. The big concern is we do need to get some Inkies down, because when it's a Malamar deck, they can always burst damage out from nowhere. They can get like a Giratina down and just one-shot us at this point. They do have Shining Arceus. DC in 1 Psychic Recharge. Well, they're drawing pretty badly at least. There's a Cynthia as well. We will definitely be playing this card. I think one Inkay's got to come down. So we are munching through pretty quickly. They have no Psychics in the discard pile, so it may be difficult for them to... Okay, not difficult for them to get an Arceus out. They're going to go for a Guzma play again. That actually makes it so that we can KO this, which is hilarious. They have so many damage counters on us now, though. Very intimidating. Luckily, they only have a 1-card hand, so it is looking pretty likely that we can just have some reprieve from all this stuff. We do have... Tapu Lele available if we want to go for that sort of line. All these switches are pretty clutch. I think I'm just going to Lily for 3 here. I like having the option to just have the Psychic Energy guaranteed. Is it time to put another Inkay down? I think this is the time, if ever. We'll bop this guy. Let's see what they can do with a one-card hand. This is the issue with a spread deck. You can't draw cards if you're not taking prizes. Oh, they've got a Giratina and a Lele. Wow, okay. A Lele is a loss condition for them, obviously. But they're having to do it to draw cards here. Currently, no Psychic Energies in the discard pile is good for us. That's like the best news. Another Mally. Skateboard, okay. Ultra Ball, sure. They're gonna let loose. Yeah. You know it. Do they find an energy to use Psychic Sphere or not? Nope, they're going to retreat and start recharging something else up, it looks like. So they're doing this play to protect the Lele as much as possible, so it's not just Guzma for game. I guess that makes sense. Do we just take the turn to Tapu Cure? Is the question. If we take our turn to Tapu Cure, he like basically can never deny Lele being game for us. I think that's what we're doing. There's Guzma energy for next turn, and we had Tapu Cure that turn, so he saw the writing was pretty much on the wall. Nice, nice. They drew very badly there. We got away with it. Let's see. Another game, shall we? This deck really has been impressing me. I've played it a little bit today, and it's been pretty good. Better than I give it credit for, I think. People just kind of say, just play clowns, but this has a totally different matchup spread. And for an aggressive deck, that's pretty cool. Ace playing Fighting Psychic. Is this going to be Buzzrock? That would be pretty good for us. Not quite as good as Gascan's matchup, but still very strong. Actually, you could argue that it's still... Maybe you argue it's better even, because it can knock out Lycanrocs much easier, and that's like the way that a Buzzrock can beat Gascan. Double mulligan for us. Let's see what we're up against. Leading our one of every game. That's our mulligan. I don't care about that one. What's his mulligan? Is this going to be Donphan? I see Last Chance Potion and Order Pad, and I'm instantly very confused. We can get around Last Chance. We can get around Donphan with Distortion Door. Our hand is pretty terrible, but we have treasure for Lele at least. Please tell me it's Donphan. That's Diancie. Okay, so we can now just grab ourselves an Inkay, which is kind of better. I don't mind attaching to the active, I think it's fine. For a potential full moon star if we have a slow next turn. Also, obviously, synergizes Volta. I think I'll take the Dawn Wings rather than bin it. I think. The Ultra Ball could be better for getting more Inkays out, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't feel like I need to play all of these cards and just Lily anyway next turn. The Dawnwing doesn't need to be put down though, and maybe, but we're up against a fighting deck. Yeah, let's just take it. It's probably the best card, and we'll just pass. And we'll get a better picture about what we're up against now. Last Chance Potion, huh? Yeah, it's Donphan. Okay. Silly Donphan. Has that sturdy ability. Let's get the full extent of this madness. Yeah, so attacking with Giratina is going to be absolutely nuts here. Sightseer? What? Why though? What's the synergy? I don't see the synergy. Okay. Let's scout. Yeah, Tina's in here. Okay. Don't feel like it's a game for Ultra Necrozma. I think this is where we go non-GX focused. I feel like we can put down Dual Wings though. Its resistance kind of makes it like good enough. We're pretty much not getting an attack off really, are we, this turn? We can pay retreat on this, but what attacker can we spring on him that can do 120 for 2? Nothing. Okay. So I guess I'll just end my turn on a Full Moon Star. And if we don't need Ultra this turn, or this game, I can just attach here and Lily and hope to find a Bull Search for a better Full Moon Star. Yeah, nice. I think we Acrobike first, because if we see a Giratina or an Inkay, we're happy. Stretcher... We already have a backup supporter, so I guess we just take Stretcher. It does actually make our supporter worse, obviously. I think we can kill Stretcher here. I want another Inkay. Even though we're missing the Tina right now, I think it's one of those things when it gets here, and we'll have it for the whole game. It's Full Moon Star. I think they're going active. Pretty sure. The army of Fampies is here. Another Inkay isn't bad. If we can attach, it doesn't matter. Like, we can Malamar either of them, but the Beast Energy works here. We just have to Invasion Retreat if we're able to find Psych Energy to attack with this guy. No. Is that dumb of me? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, the Psystorm isn't one-shotting this, so there's no point in us attaching to it. Maybe the Full Moon Star was the mistake. But they're not doing much. I'm just going to pass here. They didn't evolve into any Dom fans. More baby buzzes. Tate and Liza for the shuffle. So their Diancie is not going anywhere. Order pad, Pog. Now that's another reason. There was no point in Psystorming for 100 because they play Last Chance Potion. Of course, we knew that. Okay. Trying to protect Diancie, sure. Start knocking these out then. Our hand's not doing much, but it's doing more than him. This should be a pretty routine game because we have the Tina. We just eventually need to discard it. Man, Lunala's so difficult for them to get over. Resistance and 160 hit points on a non-GX. It's so rough. What are they doing? Deciding what to promote or something. Come on. Little Fampy. That's the classic artwork. Come on, mate. What's going on here? I've got a video to make. Come on. Here we go. The big concede. Right, let's get into another game then. At pace. That was a pretty slow start from us. I think against a real deck we could have been in trouble there. But it's kind of a testament to the versatility of like all of our different attackers. Like even matchups like that, you can come up with a game plan because of how different our matchups, like how we can approach different matchups because you have so many different attacking options. It kind of makes you, it kind of covers your ground against even things you're not expecting to be good against. And that's a pretty tempting thing. Compared to like Blacephalon, where the deck plays 4 attacks, basically. It doesn't have much versatility. This is an aggressive deck that has far more options. Far more options. We're up against a Rowlet. Is it going to be Zoro Desi Tails? Or is it going to be Meganium Swamp Desi Kingdra Solgaleo Porygon? Who knows, but we led Bell of Silence, so we're pretty happy. It's Acrobike. That seems good. We want those cards. I think I'm going to discard Let Loose here. We have stretchers, and I want to have the option to switch, just in case, because a lot of the time for Bell of Silence, their out is just Guzma. So I think we're just doing this. We can always recover Marshadow. Just get another Inkay out. And hope not to miss off the Lily for 7. An energy card. We play 13. There we go. Definitely didn't miss energy. Let's ring the bell. They really didn't do much on their turn 1. So maybe this Bell of Silence can lock them for a bit. Yep, they just have to tackle us. Tackle the Bell of Silence. Yeah, he loves it. We'll get the double Mally down because we don't mind when we have Switch in hand. Don't really want to commit the choice band, but I'm going to just because I want to draw more cards. Don't want to commit an energy card though, don't think that's worth. Stretcher might be required there. Okay, that's going to be 3rd Inkay. This is exactly what we look for because the deck is naturally not the quickest. So we want to give ourselves this sort of blanket with Bell of Silence to buy us as many turns as possible to build our board and just have a better one than them, basically. And currently they're drawing pretty dead, which makes Bell of Silence pretty strong. I attach manually to the Inkay because I want to keep the Psychic Recharges available for when we actually find an attacker. And we have so many energies in hand already. They're going to Ultra Ball. What the... Yeah, probably it is Zoro Tails. Probably. They might be Ultra Balling out Beacon here. Because they do play Water Tails, and that can be quite frustrating for this deck. Nice gold rainbow energy. Lots of reverse stuff as well. It's a max rarity player. OP. Oh, not the DCUs. There's Yveltal GX. Is he going to tackle and then doom count a Chimecho? Is that what's happening here? Oh, he can... this heals, right? Yeah. So he is putting us on somewhat of a clock with the Bell of Silence. Don't want to let loose too early, but I feel like our hand is so slow that there's literally nothing going on in this hand, so we will just take the Marshadow now and let loose on him. Try and find an attacker that we can start Psychic Recharging to get over this Yveltal. Dawnwings is absolutely terrible because it's weak to Dark. But it might be our only option. No, it can't be. It can't be correct. We'll just Bell of Silence a few more times. We could go all the way until he knocks out the Chimecho and then use Moon's Eclipse if we want to. That could be one way to protect us, but it's only temporary protection, as he does find himself an Elm off of our own Let Loose. There's the gang. Cynthia. Now it's even more of a headache that we found Cynthia, because we have the allure of Dawnwings just staring us down with a GX attack, but I think we should Cynthia. They typically just play one blower. We can at the very least get rid of a Giratina here. I want to do it before the Acrobike for extra thinning. Gonna grab Lele just in case things go very south, because we don't have much going on here. I think Giratina just comes out now. Let's think about 10 damage. 10 damage, 10 damage. I think it's going on just these two. Now we can go for Shadow Impact this turn. Or we can Bell of Silence, essentially sacrifice, and then knock out either Zorua or Vulpix with the Giratina. And with his board like this, I feel like it's tempting just to Bell of Silence one more turn. I'm going to do it. Typically you retreat out, but I also want the bench space for my own Lele to get myself out of this hand, so I think it's correct. And we have to have the debate whether it's better to knock out a Zorua or a Vulpix here. He's probably only ever attacking us with... I mean, the Sonic isn't... Oh, it's not affected by weakness either. That's really good for us, because this is weak to Dark. Better to knock out Zorua or Vulpix. Ninetales gets him literally everything. Zoroark is probably the attacker. Are we too concerned if we just knock out the Zorua and then he goes Ninetales Decidueye Decidueye? We kind of still are worried about that because our own Shadow Impact is doing damage to our dudes. I think from my experience against this deck though, we should just knock out the Zoroark. The Zorua. Stop him getting Zoroarks. And where do I want to put this this 40? It's on Let Loose. It's like the easiest way that he can take a prize with pings, but it clears off our board, and we're much more concerned about him knocking out Malamars than Marshadow. So let's go down that line of thought. Here comes Timeable. Double heads, PogChamp. They're going to get the usual suspects. Ninetale's going to grab himself definitely at least one rare candy, maybe second one or timer depending on what else is in his hand. Both stretchers gone. Really struggle to find Ultra Necrozma this game. We do have to be a little concerned about Ultra Necrozma, obviously, in this matchup, because they have Sublimation GX and Snowy Wind with Choice Band or with pings. Yep, they're just going to get Candy Ultra Ball. That sounds good to me. That's at least one guaranteed Decidueye. Watch pulling away double Choice Band, interesting. I guess he hasn't seen any GX Pokemon yet. Apart from Lele that we searched out. Double Desi. And Ultra Ball. Got rid of Acerola, which is actually pretty good for us. Because our next turn is probably just Shadow Impact the active. They're going to Wonder Tag. Get a fresh 6. If they get DCE, they could ping, and Sonic Evil for a knockout. Never thought I'd say that sentence. Blower, okay. So, we have no stadiums this game. Choice Band for what it's worth, sure. Well, at least one ping is going active. Are they going to GX us? No, okay, they have the DCE. Oh, they don't? What the? He just GX'd the Giratina? What the? Wow, okay. Ooh, Cynthia's a good draw. There's no Zoroark on this board. And we're behind on prize cards. I want to guarantee an attack, which means we're getting Dawn Wings. We're doing it. Especially with a Cynthia like that, it feels like a safe decision. The deck typically plays 2 Guzma, and they only have a hand size of 6 with no Zoroarks. Feels like possibly the best time that we could do this GX attack. Have the decision of where I want to attach to. The Inkay has free retreat. Oh, sorry, we'll have free retreat just by attaching 1, but it's 2 pings away, so I think I'm putting it here. And we'll GX. I need to check that this gets for effects. Yeah, effects as well. Good, good, good. Don't want to just get sublimationed with a counter gain attachment. There's the counter gain. So maybe they still are gonna... Maybe they KO like a Malamar and a Marshadow at the same time this turn. Oh, they have Cynthia. No Guzma. That's really good for us. They have to be a little bit scared about benching stuff as well. Because then we're just one big 2 prize knockout away. If he wants to put down any like Zaruas or anything. But he's doing it anyway. It's pretty good for us. I wonder where their feather arrows are going this turn. They might just feel like trying to knock out a Marshadow here, or they might start getting clever and try and ping down the Malamar. Yeah, they just want to race for prizes. Makes sense. Oh, okay. Maybe not. They want to keep the options open. Sure. Well, we're definitely using Guzma. I think I want to pay retreat rather than invasion as well. And 5 in hand, punished super hard by sublimation. If we don't do it, we get punished super hard by judge, but his hand will be terrible if he judges himself. So I guess we're just doing this. Here comes the Alolan Ninetales. They can sublimation this turn with a ping on a Marshadow and go down to 1 prize. I think they need to knock out a Malamar here though to not lose. They can still do that with a Snowy Wind play instead. Ping, ping, Snowy Wind. 70 and knock out 1 Malamar. We can still... Oh, we still beat that anyway. We've wrapped it up. Wrapped it up in a nice, neat little bow. Have they been able to find Rainbow Energy off this anyway? 2 already gone. It's going to be hard for them. With no Zoroarks, it's always hard. Feather Arrow's coming down. They're going to take a prize and maybe pull an energy off that, I guess. No energy cards, that's game. How much are we doing? We're doing 100, 160, 190. So we just pay retreat, do our last recharge, and play switch. Do a big old photon geyser. 290. The BM plays. Busted deck. Alright. I guess we carved through every opponent we faced, so they've come up with a good list. Ultra Necrozma doing good things, and it's definitely back on the map. And a deck that has unlimited damage cap is always appealing. Energy recovery is always appealing, especially with Mill like sneaking around here and there. So yeah, powerful deck. Definitely one to keep your eye out for. And yeah, nice list from the guys as well. So cheers so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.